When the church first met at the high school, I think I was getting drugged there by my wife at the time, but I had never been really to church before. I didn't own a Bible, so I attended Sun Valley. I can still remember the feeling walking up the runway to the high school and the people opening the doors.
I think God was calling me first, and, in America, you chase after, having everything. We both had full-time jobs, we had kids, we had cars, we bought our first house. We literally had everything that, we thought we needed, and I was completely unhappy and miserable and had no desire at all to go to church. Jesse's always been an awesome husband. He's always wanted me to be happy. And so I said, I think we need to go to church. I don't know what else we don't have in life, but really God dragged me out of that life and showed me that there was zero happiness there without him in it. We went to a couple churches and the first one was a little charismatic and we were pretty terrified. And then the second one was, it was nice, but it was interesting because Barry Rifle was guest preaching there. And he taught at the high school with Jesse, so that was somebody he knew well. And the next week, we followed Barry to Sun Valley.
I still tend to lean that way, being jealous of people that have been Christians their whole lives. I'm almost embarrassed of how I acted, how I behaved, and all that kind of stuff. And I remember Andy DeNome saying, but you were a blank slate. When we showed up, and within a year of us showing up, we were going through Romans. It was, God's word being written on our hearts that was just blank. What I thought was embarrassing really helped me grow in my faith.
From the pulpit, just the teaching and preaching that was verse by verse, that always stuck out to me because there was just such an emphasis on knowing who he is and tasting and seeing the goodness of Jesus. I'm thankful to remember what life was like before God called us. And the more I know Christ and the more that I love him, the more I love God's people. This is a place where I belong. This is why I exist, is to be here. This is where I'm fed. This is where I'm sanctified. This is where I use my gifts and my talents to serve the church.
To watch them pour into my children, to see my children be baptized, to see my wife grow in her faith. When you put all that together and you think about what does SVC mean to you, it's meant everything. We might have a legacy of believers in our family when we didn't have really any to begin with.
Our prayer for the next 20 years is that there will be many generations to come that will just truly love the church because they love Jesus, and that our church will continue to be faithful to preach God's word and teach God's word and to honor that above everything.
You can cut all the stuff out about her talking about our unhappy marriage, right?
It was bizarre. Like, why are we unhappy?
I was perfectly fine. Then you drug me to this place.